Hey y'all, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So if you have been watching my past videos since I've been home, I believe in every single one I have referenced this past semester and why I wanted to talk about it, but I haven't talked about it yet because I haven't necessarily known how I wanted to word it, because I am going to be talking about a few different things that I personally don't have any negative feelings against, and it's just situational things that I had a problem with. As I'm talking about these things, it's not necessarily the big picture that I had the problem with, more or less tiny pictures inside the big picture. I just wanted to put that out there first, that if it sounds at any point in time that I'm complaining about an entire office, an entire class, an entire group, an entire whatever, that it's not that I'm trashing an entire the big picture, but just the small parts that had affected me, kind of where my thought process has been at after thinking about a lot of things all break, and how I plan to move forward into next semester. Hey y'all, so this is me editing the video a little bit later, and we've decided to reroute a little bit. So I recorded for over an hour, and essentially this is gonna work so much better as different videos. So now, instead of talking about the entire semester in one video, because why I ever thought that was a good idea is beyond me, today I'm going to be talking about the academic side of the semester and why that was challenging. This way it's just going to be a lot shorter, a lot less miserable to watch, because I'm not just ranting forever and ever and ever. So instead it's just going to be me talking about my academics and why that was hard this semester, and then you can look forward to other videos in the future. Last semester was kind of difficult for a few different reasons. There's just a few things. I think a lot of this stems from having high expectations, or a certain this can't possibly go wrong attitude, and then it only made it all the worse when something did fail. Feeling you're guaranteed a certain outcome is never a smart mindset to have, because you're only gonna find disappointment if that's not the outcome that comes along. Sometimes the outcome does happen the way you expect it to, and then it's even harder to appreciate that an outcome turned out a certain way because you expected it to happen that way. Or in my case, a lot of times this semester, you expect an outcome and you are completely baffled when the outcome is nowhere near what you had thought. I think there's a few minor things that had happened, but when clumped all together, essentially it kind of made me feel myself, my own personality, everything that I thought was was me, and everything that I thought I stood for was essentially flipped upside down, and then I had to second guess a lot of things, and I had to question myself. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about is my studio art minor. One thing that I discovered in high school was my passion for the arts. Some of those things were really successful for me. So my theater career in high school was really, really good. Being able to have all of these lead roles, really falling in love with the art. I come to college and I do fairly well in what I enjoy doing, and I never find that I hate what I'm doing when it comes to the theater department. Some other loves that I have found in high school were things like singing in the choir and drawing and art and all aspects of that, which I have quickly found over the past 2.5 years that I've been in school, that I'm not on the same level as everyone else when it comes to things like that. So when I decided to drop my music minor last year, I was thinking about other possible minors because I wanted to have that minor. I decided to do this studio art minor, and the only reason I picked that to declare is because I love photography. If you don't know, I have my own photography Instagram. I've done videos in the past of just me going on photography trips and doing vlogs where I just go and take different videos and whatever. Not videos, pictures. I've taken different pictures around different areas. I've taken pictures on campus. I've gone out and take pictures, and I really wanted to get into this photography class. So I wanted to assure myself that I'd get into the photography class. So I picked up the minor and I got in the photography class, and it was a lot of work, but I got through it and I enjoyed it. But then this semester it was time to kind of look at what other things I needed for this minor. And so with that, I ended up taking 3 art classes this semester. One was just an art history course, so it wasn't it didn't add that much stress to my schedule or whatever. But the other 2 were studio art classes, and I quickly learned it's almost impossible to be able to put in the time and energy that they want into these projects when you also have to give your time and energy into the theater department. This past semester was good with me in the theater department, and my entire sophomore year, like, I was so uninvolved. So for our musical this year, I was chosen as one of the 2 assistant directors. So I got to work like right alongside our new professor this semester. She let both of us direct our own like scene from the musical. We did working, so it was really easy to like each give us something small to work on. She would ask us to do like smaller tasks, and she would say like, when I'm directing a show, here's some problems that I might like run over, and like here's how we problem solve. And it was honestly probably my favorite experience of the semester. But the theater department does take a lot of time. So I quickly found with my studio art classes that I didn't have as much time to commit to the projects as they wanted. But then what would happen is, especially during Dracula, we would get these large assignments for our art class. And normally it's hard enough to have one studio art class because the professors would easily say, like, put in a good 4 or 5 hours on this art project. And I'm like, okay, like, that's fine. Until I go to my next art class and they also want me to put in 4 or 5 hours. I go to rehearsal and I'm putting in 4 or 5 hours. I have to eat, I have to sleep. I'm a part of the fraternity. I'm doing philanthropy events. We did one of our largest philanthropy events is in the fall, and I hadn't planned that before. This was my first time planning that specific event. And like that was on top of me, and that required so many hours of my day. And I quickly realized that I was being asked for too many hours in the day. Like, there's only 24 in a day, and you have, like, they technically tell you to spend 8 of that sleeping. However, that's supposed to work out for a college student, don't ask me. You know, each of these like studio classes were 2 hours long, so that's at least 2 hours I can work on it in a day. And then if I had to, I would go back to the house, you know, get changed after a day of rehearsal, whatever, grab something to eat, and then I would drive down and I would sit in the art studio by myself from like midnight to maybe 4 in the morning. You know, at first that wasn't a problem, but as we started getting into cold and flu season, I stopped like letting myself have as much sleep, and then the rehearsals started getting longer. You know, like I quickly was losing energy, losing sleep, and my immune system was like taking the brunt of it. It started getting to the point where like I didn't want to get out of bed in the morning because I just felt like garbage. I wasn't getting enough sleep, and my body like wouldn't wake up. I have slept through multiple alarms, and it like quickly became really taxing. And like I think it really hit me mentally because like I was mentally exhausted. Essentially, like I stopped caring. I didn't want to do the art projects anymore. I wasn't enjoying them. For me, when I'm gonna sit down and do art, like it's something that I really want to do, and I really want to draw in the moment, or I want to paint, or I want to do something, and like enjoying myself while I'm doing it. But it quickly turned into it being, I'm being told to do this work, and I don't get to choose what I do, and I only have limited choices on what I'm doing. And like some of the art forms were just absolutely like horrible for me, and I hated it. This is where the story splits, because in my one class, when the work started getting really, really hard, like it just felt like it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And like I didn't want to do it. I hated my projects. I hated what I was turning in. I didn't like it. I didn't like the process behind it. And like every single time I would turn in a project, I would hate it even more. But in my other art class, it was like every single time I turned in a project, it was, oh my goodness, look at how much you've improved, or you're really improving. And like I would do the artwork and I would say, you know, like this looks good, but I don't like it, or this wasn't my art style. And like it was really cool, don't get me wrong, to like learn all of these different things, but I found that like I just didn't have enough time in the day to enjoy the work that I was putting in, or it got to the point where I felt like I had to do it, which made me want to do it less, and it made me not like it as much, because I would get to the point where I was like, okay, like I don't want to work on this anymore today. But then I would realize that the deadlines were coming up and I didn't really have a choice. So then at that point my brain was like, you need to break, you need to put the pen down, but I couldn't. Like I had to keep going. Every single project got worse and worse and worse, and it got to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm learning that like there's certain hobbies that I really enjoy doing, but I hate doing it when there's a grade attached. When final grades came out this semester, they weren't necessarily where I thought they were going to be, and if I'd want to keep the studio art minor, I would have to take a class again, and it's not worth it. So as far as my academics are concerned, that's kind of like the stumble that I took on, was like learning how to differentiate what I can do for a grade and what I can't do for a grade. And like going forward, I think just doing a theater major is going to be fine. Like, I don't have to have 2 majors and 3 minors to feel like I have accomplished something. And I think that's where the problem was. I wanted to be able to say, like, look at all the things that I did, but like, that's stupid. That's so stupid. And if you can't put your 100% to everything that you're doing, then is it even worth bragging about at the end of the day? So with me cutting this into multiple videos, I now have to record a whole separate outro. Sorry, this is a horrible angle and horrible quality because I'm just recording it right on the MacBook. I hope you liked today's video. The next video that I'm going to post is going to hit maybe a little bit heavier. At least I know it is for me, because the subject I'm going to talk about is a little bit more deeper and it hit a little bit harder. College can be very stressful and it's going to have a lot of up and downs. And thanks for sitting through with me. If you want to have any open discussions in the comments down below, feel free. Hit that subscribe button, as I will be posting more and more in 2020. Like, that is my goal. We're not making promises, we're setting goals, and a goal for me in 2020 is to record more regularly. So hopefully I can achieve that goal and maybe even start weekly uploading again. So, hit that subscribe button. As I gain more and more subscribers, it really helps boost the morale, and it really makes me more motivated to get these videos uploaded for you all. And leave me ideas for videos to do, because I really want to produce content that you guys want to watch. So I just need to know what that content is. Let me know and I'd be more than happy to. So thank y'all for watching, and I hope I will see y'all in the next video, guys. Goodbye.